Hey friends, welcome back to Life with Mrs. B. Today I have got two, not one, but two delicious soup recipes for you. I love soup. Soup is always so easy and comforting, and where I live in Scotland, there's only like a couple of days out the year where soup is not good. My kids are outside playing and they are skating up and down this kitchen window making funny faces at me. But yes, so the first recipe I have for you is a broccoli and cheddar soup, which is delicious. And the second recipe is, I don't really have a name for this soup. It's beef and it's like got a tomato base and it's got soft cheese in it and pasta, but I don't have a name for it. Maybe beef pasta soup. Both these recipes are quite simple to make. They don't have any fancy ingredients or fancy equipment needed, so they are great if you are a beginner cook, or maybe if you want to do these kind of recipes with your kids, your teenagers. They will be able to follow them really easily. So without ado, let's go. The first soup I've got for you guys is a broccoli cheddar soup, which I've never made before, but it sounds delicious. What could go wrong with broccoli and cheese? So you're going to need some butter, and I'll give more measurements as we go. I've got an onion, a couple of stock cubes. I'm using veggie, but you could also use chicken, some carrots, mature white cheddar. I've got a whole bag of frozen broccoli. This is 750 grams. And I'm going to be actually blending this soup up at the end with a stick blender because my kids then don't know there's vegetables in it. But if you wanted to not blend it, which would be my personal preference, I would use fresh broccoli, and you would just want to cut them up into quite small pieces. And the same with your carrots, you could julienne them, that would work well as well. And your onion, just do it finely. Then you're going to need some milk and some flour, and that's all you need, and some water. But that's it, like that's pretty simple. So let's get started. How cheesy is that? Let's get started. Every basic YouTuber says that. Let's go. First thing we're going to do, guys, is just chop up our onion. It doesn't have to be too fine because, as I said, we're blending it, and that's that. And then into our pot, I'm just going to put this much butter. Oh, that was hot. That was too hot. No. Panic stations. And we're just going to saute off the onion. And whilst the onions are sauteing down, we're going to peel and chop these carrots. So my onions are cooking nicely. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to actually make a roux. So you're going to need about 60 grams of butter. I'm just going to use the little guidelines on the packs of butter. I don't know if everywhere else has this. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little guideline there. Oh, my dog's having a heart attack. So I'm going to go in with about 50 grams of butter, as I said. 50-60 grams. And then once that's melted, this butter's very hard, it's been in the fridge. We're going to go in with half a cup of plain flour, or all-purpose flour, whatever you like to call it. And if you notice, I've not put the carrots in just yet. We're going to let that melt. Whilst the butter is melting, I'm going to put into this jug here 2 cups of milk and 2 cups of water, and then we'll add the stock cubes to it. Now that the butter has melted and it's kind of a little brown, a little nutty, I'm going to go in with half a cup of flour, and you're just going to mix this, and it's going to look like it's not going to work, but it'll be fine. And we're just making a roux here so that our soup will be nice and thick. And then we're just going to let the flour taste cook out for a little bit, because trust me, raw flour is not nice. Then we're going to add in the stock cubes and the stock and milk mixture. So in we go with the milk and the stock. Oh man, I make such a mess when I cook. I'm kind of glad you guys can't see, but I spilt milk all over there. Then we're going to add in these stock cubes. And then this soup is very simple, I'm not going to lie. Then pretty much all we're going to need is the broccoli and the carrots, and that's it. And we're just going to simmer it on low until everything is cooked. Then we're going to add the cheese and blend it. We'll season it and blend it, and that's it. If you don't like carrots, you could probably leave these carrots out, if I'm honest. Like, I don't think it would be the end of the world. And then in with the broccoli. And if the soup is too thick at the end, don't worry, we can always add some more water or some more milk, not to worry. And that's it. I'm going to come back to you once everything is cooked. Now all we're going to do is blend it up. Here I have a stick blender. It's going to get noisy. Then, once it's blended, we'll add the cheese in. So for the cheese, I am going in with about 250 grams of that pretty mature cheddar. And I'm just gonna let this melt. You could grate it, but you know, that's more effort than cutting it up into cubes. And I'm just gonna grate it. No, I'm just gonna let it melt. And then that's this soup done, guys. And I'm going to serve it with some homemade yeast rolls. I do have a video for that as well, which I will put a link down in the description for you, or an eye in the sky, whatever side it goes. And that, once the cheese is melted, is soup number 1 done. Now, seasoning wise, I'm going to taste it. I probably need some pepper, but I'm going to say it's not going to need any salt because cheese, salty. Stock cubes, salty. The butter was unsalted, but that can sometimes be salty as well, so I don't think it's going to need any salt. Oh, it's so lovely and thick. Oh, it looks so good. I cannot wait to eat this. So for the second soup, which has no name, when I was younger I used to listen to a band called The Band With No Name. So this is the soup with no name. And you're going to need 3 cartons of tomato passata. You could substitute 1 or 2 of these for chopped tomatoes, but this soup is not going to be blended, so only do that if you like chunks of tomatoes. My kids don't, so we are going to just go with the passata. And then you're going to need a couple of carrots, a couple of onions. These ones are quite small, so I would say 2 small ones or 1 larger one, a couple of cloves of garlic. We're going to use these stock cubes. The kids are so funny out there. We're going to use some stock cubes. These are chicken stock, but you could use whatever you like, and we're going to use that to make up some stock. And then a block of soft cheese, 500 grams of steak mince or beef mince, just use whatever you've got. You could also use sausages, that would be nice too. And then last but not least, you're going to need 2 boxes of this tortellinis. Tortellinis are smaller, I believe. These are tortellonis. I prefer the 4 cheese one from Morrison's, but it's so hard to get around here. It sells out really quick. So today I've gone for ham and cheese and chicken and bacon. You're going to use both these packets. And yeah, normally I would prefer the cheese, but you know, gotta get what you can get. So the first thing you're going to do is pop your onions. I've got a nice big pot here, and I've got a helper in the background making rolls. Thank you, Sky. If you can see her, here, stick your hand in, Sky. So the onions, I have cut them up pretty finely. As I said, you are not going to be blending this soup. We're going to saute them off for a few minutes. Then we're going to add in the beef. Now the onions are looking like this. I'm going to put the beef in. This is steak mince I got from Costco, and I just package it up. It's 500 grams. I just package it up and freeze it. It is very nice. But you could also use, as I said, sausage, or I don't know. You just use what your heart tells you to use. And then we're going to brown this up. And once this is browned, we will add the grated carrots and the garlic, which I'm going to chop again pretty fine. So now the beef is all cooked through. I broke it up with a spoon. You just want to kind of like mash it. So I'm going to go with the carrots and then in with the garlic. And you just want to cook this through just until you can like really smell the garlic. You don't want your garlic to go brown. We're going to add in the stuff that makes it a soup. So I've got in here over a litre of water. It's 1.2 along with the 3 cartons of passata. So I'm going to put in some stock cubes. I'm making it chicken stock, but you know, use what you've got. If you've got vegetable, use vegetable. Beef would also work well because you know it is beef. Now at this point you're going to want to cook it, like simmer it for about 30 minutes longer if you've got the time. This guy's just going to add some sugar. Yeah. I always forget about sugar. Well, I don't always forget, but today I forgot. Sugar will just help balance the acidity of the tomatoes. So I'm going to put the stock cubes in and then let this simmer. So what we're going to do is just go in with the pasta. This is such a simple dish. You could definitely do this with your kids. Are you sneezing, Poppy? What are you sneezing for? Oh, you smell good things. You think these are treats? These aren't treats. No. And then these only take a few minutes to cook if you're boiling them. So you just, again, they're only going to take a few minutes in this, because I mean this is pretty hot. And then in with your tub of soft cheese. So there are so many ways you could change this up. You could add in celery. If you like celery, you could add in some chopped spinach. I would add chopped spinach if the kids weren't eating it. There we go. Now this makes quite a lot of soup, which is my preferred amount. Last time we made this, I got about 10 bowls out of it. So it does make a lot and it is very filling. This time I am actually going to take some to my grandparents, who my granddad is quite sick. He has corona. So I'm going to drop some off at their front door for them, along with some homemade rolls and some homemade brownies. So we're just going to let that cook for a few minutes and then come back to it. Then here is how the soup has turned out. It is creamy. Those tortellonis have plumped up nicely in the soup. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. If you make any of these soups, let me know. And I will see you in my next video. I make new videos every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And I will see you then. See ya.